After years of trials, his guilty plea, 2 continuances delaying his sentencing, we finally have an answer on how the federal government is going to hold Trevor Jacob accountable for intentionally crashing his airplane for clicks on YouTube and then lying about it, obstructing a federal investigation. I've got the sentencing memo. We're going to get into all the details. But if you like aviation content here on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I am damn near finished with this home-built bush plane. I'm going to take it into the backcountry. We can mount cameras all over it. I'm going to talk a little bit of the airline lifestyle, a little bit of old fighter pilot stories along the way. So if you like that kind of stuff, subscribe. My name's Steve Cox. You're watching Clear Direct. I had no idea I'd be filming this video today, and I wore my Cal Poly shirt. Why is that funny? It's because this whole thing happened in Santa Barbara County, which is just north of San Luis Obispo, kind of my old stomping ground. So I know exactly where these things took place. I also talked about this case with Elizabeth Vargas on her show iCrime. When it comes out, I'll leave a link here or in the description. You can check that out. I'd lastly like to thank Kieran McAvoy. He was the gentleman in the Central District of California U.S. Attorney's Office who helped feed me this information. He's a public information officer. Why is it important for them to feed this to the public? So that I can provide it to you, so that you know what the retribution is going to be if you pull a stunt like this. And let's be honest, there is more and more motivation for people to do stupid, dumb stuff to get clicks on YouTube. This is kind of the pendulum swinging back to just, safe culture. I'm not going to get into that. I think the stupidity speaks for itself. This is the recommendation on what the U.S. Attorney's Office requested the judge to sentence Trevor Jacob. And then at the end, I'm going to get into what the actual sentence was. You're going to have to wait to the end. I'm sorry, this is the way YouTube works. November 24th, 2021. So this is over 2 years ago. The defendant took off in his aircraft from Lompoc City Airport and had no intent of reaching his purported destination, Mammoth Lakes, California. My brother lives there. He was gonna dump his friend's ashes, and then he did the Ridge Wallet advertisement. It's just kind of hokey, right? Instead, defendant planned to eject from his airplane during the flight and to videotape himself parachuting to the ground and his airplane as it descended and crashed. This is very serious, and I'm kind of giggling. I understand. I don't mean to make any light of this, but it's just so stupid. And there's accountability. So sorry if you think I'm making light of it. Trust me, it's a serious issue. All right, further, defendant planned to post that video on YouTube. We know all that. 2 days later, the defendant notified the NTSB about the crash of his airplane. During the interview, the NTSB investigator told the defendant that he was responsible for preserving the wreckage and that the NTSB would need to see the wreckage. Makes sense? At the end of the interview, the defendant agreed to provide the NTSB investigator with videos of the crash. Oh, really? On November 30th, the NTSB investigator followed up. Hey, buddy, let me know the lat-long coordinates of the aircraft wreckage. About an hour and a half later, the defendant responded by email stating that now he did not have the coordinates and was still trying to locate the wreckage. In early December 2021, defendant contacted a helicopter company and asked the owner of that company, SS, if he could help the defendant retrieve his airplane. Thereafter, on December 10th, SS picked up the defendant and a friend in a helicopter in Santa Maria, California. And then the defendant informed SS of the location of the plane wreckage. SS flew defendant and his friend to the site of the wreckage. This is where it gets all Dexter-y, right? Their defendant secured the aircraft wreckage with straps, and the helicopter subsequently lifted the wreckage and carried it back to the meeting location in Santa Maria. At the meeting location, the helicopter loaded the wreckage onto the trailer of the defendant's pickup, where they drove it to Lompoc City Airport and unloaded the wreckage in the hangar. Then they cut up and destroyed the airplane. Poor Taylorcraft. Poor Patches. There's a nickname for that exact airplane. It was a trainer for a lot of people. Let me know in the comments below if you actually flew that poor airplane. They cut up and destroyed the airplane wreckage, and over the course of a few days, deposited the detached parts of the wrecked aircraft into trash receptacles at the airport and elsewhere. Subsequently, on January 3rd, the NTSB investigator again emailed and said, hey, has the aircraft wreckage been recovered? If so, where is it? The following day, the defendant responded by email and falsely stated, I am not aware of the plane location. The defendant does not have a significant criminal history. His prior convictions consist solely of trespassing on railroad property. Having made the U.S. snowboarding team when he was 16 years old and actually competing in the 2014 Winter Olympics in Russia, That achievement shows that defendant can be successful when applying himself to something productive. I like that part. Conclusion. For the reasons set forth above, the government recommends that the defendant be sentenced to a 12-month term of imprisonment, a fine of $10,000, a 2-year term of supervised release, and a $100 special assessment. Okay, there was an amendment to that. Memo 2, just real quickly, says the government strongly objects to the defendant being able to exercise the privileges of a licensed pilot during his term of supervised release or probation. The recklessness and risk created by defendant's conduct run directly counter to a licensed pilot's responsibilities. Amen. So here it is, folks. Drum roll, please. 12 months? No, they give him 6 months. 6 months in Club Fed. So what do you guys think? You know, my thoughts are that 6 months, is it gonna deter him from doing the same thing? Absolutely. Is it gonna deter other people from doing the same thing? I don't know. Other things I'm thinking of is if he had a record, clearly he would have gotten sentenced to more. But the other thing that stuck out is if he wasn't on the U.S. snowboard team, do you think he got special treatment because of that? Let me know in the comments below. Because it's not like you think through something when you're young and you're trying to get the clicks on YouTube, but I hope this makes people think twice about doing something that could endanger themselves and primarily other people, and that's the biggest thing, right? He mitigated that risk by flying out over the Los Padres National Forest, sure. He mitigated it by having fire extinguishers strapped to his calves to put out any subsequent fire. You saw that plane, if you watch the video, it's turning, right? Who knows if it can, the engine's gonna restart. I don't know. I think he made pretty darn sure that the fuel line was disconnected, as was made obvious in the video. I usually encourage a respectful and polite comment section. I get that this one's gonna be a little bit raucous, so have at it. Let me know also in the comments if you would have liked to have seen a stiffer imprisonment, longer imprisonment. As far as the other terms of imprisonment, right? So the attorney's office recommended or requested also the $10,000 fine, a 3-year term of supervised release, probation, right? I haven't gotten those details yet. I anticipate I'll get those details by the time I'll post this video, and I will put them in the description. So other than the 6-month term of imprisonment at a federal prison. Now, the other thing about this pilot's license, so the attorney's office doesn't have jurisdiction there. Obviously, that's FAA. And let me know if you know what the FAA is going to do or has done. I know they pulled his ticket, but I don't know if he's eligible to get that ticket after his term of imprisonment or probation as requested in the amendment to the sentencing document. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one here. Hope you guys have fun in the comment section. Please don't do anything stupid, flying wise or otherwise. Be safe, take care of each other. Until next time, it's Steve Cox, your Cleared Direct.